Okay, actually, something that I interviewed you before on like how what it was being like a young female artist at UMKC, more specifically a female model. And today we have this chart. It is basically like the jobs, the pains, and the gains that you face. The jobs are basically kind of like things that you have to accomplish, like things that have to get done. For example, when it comes to watering your plants, you have to water your plants. You have to change the soil when keeping plants. You have to have the right pot for it. Move it if it has no sunlight or yes sunlight. Now, when it comes to the pains would be not having the right pot, not having water to water the pot, having no sunlight when the plant is sunlight. And on another pain would be I'm too tired, my back is broken, I don't want to get up and move the pot.
Okay.
Like, oh, you know what? Actually, I can't pay my water bill right now, so I have no running water to this thing, you know?
At this point, yeah.
Another pain could be like, I have no car, my car broke down, so I can't go buy the right soil for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like beyond just the plant, you have to look like everything that allows you to do the plant. Now, the gains are things that would make you happy about this. Like, for example, by watering the plant, you better the oxygen in your home. You therefore have better stress levels, not better stress levels. You have better health. By watering the plant, you promote healthy eating because you now grow basil and you are inspired to cook more. By watering the plant, you go and you meet different people at the place where you buy the soil. So it's kind of like a very broad, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna start with your jobs. So tell me about some things that you have to do like holistically as an Ashley Sims, a person that is a young female artist at UMKC, a model.
Okay. Well, as a model, a lot of people think, oh, like you just stand in front of a camera and you take pictures and
Yes.
that's it. But there is actually a lot more that goes behind it, and it's one, your lifestyle is the most important thing. Like maintaining a healthy lifestyle throughout. You can't just like which is what I do a lot is I go on like periods where I'm like super healthy for like 2 weeks, 2 weeks before my a really important event I have coming up, like right now.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I just
like
go
on
crazy.
Monday, you
and,
have
like,
an event and you have to be prepared for it.
Yes, and then afterwards, I'm like, okay, I can go eat ice cream.
Fashion week
pizza.
is coming.
Yeah, I know.
Fashion
Then
week
I have
is
to wait.
coming.
Yeah, it's literally right after. So,
Yes.
but so it's like preparing and keeping a healthy, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, like with your diet and exercise and just all that stuff.
Exercise also.
Yeah.
When it comes to your day-to-day routine, I can't spell exercise. We're just gonna pretend I know how do you spell exercise? You know how to spell exercise?
Exercise.
You know what? This is hard to spell. Well, you know what I mean. It's exercise.
Yeah.
So, what else? For example, you have Fashion Week coming up. What are some jobs that you have to do when it comes to that?
So we have to go to rehearsals, fittings, and we basically just show up and then we run through our walk, figure out like what poses we're gonna do at the end of the runway, and make sure everything fits and
make sure everything. So you have to do fittings. And then you have to do you said also practice rehearsals.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's a lot of things to schedule.
Yeah.
That's like basically you are fittings, rehearsals. What else? Do they do like audition?
Oh yeah, you have to audition.
You have to audition.
Actual
you basically have to audition.
Yeah, and that's another thing people don't realize. Like they think that like modeling is just so easy. You just get jobs and it pays a lot of money. But what you don't know is like like you're being paid a large amount of money for like these couple hours that you're working, but there's a lot more. Like you have to audition for it. You have to take time out of your day to go to the audition. You have to take time out of your day to go to callbacks if they call you back. And then you have to like do fittings and rehearsals and all that.
What
and that's included in what they pay you.
This
so
is like
it's
a
really
lot.
Like yeah.
And sometimes you basically so you have to have your own transportation. They don't transport you, do they?
No. Sometimes if you book a really big job and it's like a little bit like out of the way, sometimes they'll pay for your flight if it's like if you're flying in from somewhere or like your gas mileage, but
Uh-huh.
it's very rare. It's not like in Kansas City everything's local and everything's here, and like I had one job that was like all the way out in the middle of Kansas somewhere, like it was like Green Dirt Farms, and it was like this farm, and I had to drive
Oh,
all the way. It was
wow.
like an hour away, and they didn't pay gas mileage, but they do
Oh,
pay like
wow.
a lot
Wait, Green
less than
Dirt Farm?
Yeah,
Are they the goat farm?
yeah, they're
In
a goat
Weston?
farm. Yes,
In Weston!
That's in Missouri then,
Yeah,
right?
that's in
That's in
Missouri,
Missouri.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you know what's funny? I live like 10 minutes away from Weston.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's so funny.
we were
I
talking at UMKC, like,
That's so cool.
since I think me and you live from each other, like, far away, but since we both go to UMKC,
It like brings us
it
together.
brings us
in the middle.
together.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Literally, I was like, Weston. I was like, Green Dirt. You did
Yeah.
a thing for Green Dirt?
Oh, it wasn't. Well, it was for nickel and suede, like
Oh,
earrings.
okay, but it wasn't
But
at
it
for
was,
Green Dirt.
yeah. No, it wasn't an ad for Green Dirt. It was just there because they had this cute little like chapel building, and then
Yeah.
so it was like a holiday themed shoot, and we took pictures there, and then then we took pictures with the goats, and none of the other models wanted to touch the goats, and I was like, you know what, I love animals, like I don't care, I'll pet the goats. They're like, you're gonna smell that after you pet it, and I was like,
They didn't want to pet the dogs.
yeah, I was like, they're there, they want to touch it.
That's what they talk about opportunity. Like, that
Yeah.
gives you, like, more opportunity.
Yeah.
You have to.
There's also what is it? Like you have to like also like invest in being a model. You can't just like get into it right away.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
So you have to like have a portfolio book, like the book I showed you
Yeah.
when we were at the airport. It's
You
like
do have to have a portfolio book.
yeah, and so you have to. Some models have to start out like paying photographers to shoot them so that they can get the images. But like luckily for me, I had like an agency that like connected me with photographers that she like personally knew well, so I didn't have to. But once you get the physical images, like you have to pay for printing the images, putting
You
the
pay
book
for those
together.
yourself?
Yes, we pay for all that
Don't you-
ourselves, and it's like basically a way that you invest in.
Do you pay the
into-
photographer normally? Like, yes, you say you basically first pay
At the
them.
beginning, yes.
At the
But
beginning?
once you grow and you start to get a name, a lot of photographers will be willing to just, at least for me, and
Yeah.
like I don't know,
Yeah.
but like I guess for most models, yeah, I'd say it's the same way. Like once you get your name out there and people know about you, and then like photographers will want to shoot with you, and it'll just be like in exchange. And then once you get to another level, where like this one girl, my agency, she's like huge and she's in New York, doing amazing things, and now she charges photographers to shoot her.
Oh.
Yeah, so
it's like
it
a
flips, the tables turn.
It seriously is like a.
Yeah.
You pay them,
Mhm.
then you both are doing it mutually,
Yeah.
and then they pay you.
Yeah.
The tables do turn.
Yeah.
What
You
in
have
the
to get up
world?
on that level, but
So you're in the second big.
I'm in the middle one.
A lot of photographers want to shoot with you. So.
Yeah, I know. It's been like crazy lately. I've been like having to turn some people down because it's like with school, it's too much to have to just do shoots for fun all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like
Shoots
yeah.
for fun.
Yeah.
And then what about the outfits? Like.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people think like a lot of people who just start out with modeling want to go straight into like
Makeup and.
they want to like do collabs with photographers, but what they don't realize is like photographers do a lot of work when it comes to like the editing and planning for the shoot and everything. And so if you're gonna collab, like you can't just like be really unprofessional and just like show up. You have to show up with like doing your own hair and your own makeup and bringing your own outfits. Because if it's just for your portfolio, they're not gonna provide that for you unless you're actually modeling a job for a company. Then they obviously provide like hair and makeup artists and clothes and all that stuff. But when you're starting out, you're expected to have like
A lot of people don't
outfits
have this. Don't know
yeah,
this.
and you have to like go out and get an outfit just for a shoot, and it's like
And that's
do
expensive.
your makeup. Yeah, and it's expensive, so you really have to invest in it whenever you first start. It sucks in the beginning, but like once you grow, it starts to be like more. Oh, I've always thought modeling was enjoyable, but it's more enjoyable once you like
Yeah.
aren't as stressed about like
Certain things.
about it. Once you organize your book and get everything together.
You're like a student, so you're at UMKC, so you basically study, right? And you don't work there.
Yeah.
Basically you study, and you're also part of a sorority, right? So when it comes to like, and you work outside of being a model, you work.
Yeah.
So like this is like all the things that you handle.
Yeah. So this is just a small portion.
This like little chart is just like a small portion
of everything
that you do.
Yeah.
Yes. So like for you to successfully get to do these things, what other things do you have to do as a female artist here at UMKC? Like, what other things lead you? Like, do you have to turn in homework? Do you have to go to class? Do you take online classes? Like, how does that look like?
Yeah, it's really difficult trying to balance it. I'm trying to figure it out right now. But it's really hard because with modeling, everything is like scheduled so last minute. Like they don't give you like days they only give you a couple days in advance before.
Really?
Unless it's like a big show, like you'll obviously know like when the show is gonna be. Like I knew about Casey Fashion Week like months ago, but like jobs come like this. Like they literally just
seriously?
Yeah, they
like you have to drop everything you're doing again.
Yeah, you basically have to drop everything you're doing. They're like, hey, tomorrow there's an audition from this time. Are you available to go?
Yeah.
And sometimes I've had to like skip class because it's like a really big audition, and it's like I don't want to miss out on that opportunity. Yeah. And so yeah, that's a little bit difficult. And then like if it's a really high paying job, then yeah, I'll skip class for it because it's like
and that's
money,
what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's what I want to do.
You need the money to pay for school.
Yeah, so one class, I'm like, okay, I guess, but
so you basically have to be able to quickly drop everything.
Yeah.
If it
like modeling is almost like I hate to say that it's like my priority or over school, but it's like if something comes up, I have to drop everything else I'm doing. I have to call off work if I'm working, and I have to like can't do like leave school or something. But
and do you do this all by yourself or like who helps you?
I'd say my biggest help is my agent. I mean, obviously my mom's like my biggest supporter, and everyone says like, their parents, whatever. Like, she like helps me if I like am at an audition, I'm freaking out because I forgot my heels, and I'm like, I need my heels. And she's like, I love her. She's always there for me. Yeah, she always does. But my agent who like sets up my meetings, finds jobs for me, like finds castings for me to go to, like. Now that we're like here in Miami, I am like scheduled to meet with some agencies while I'm here, and so she does all the back work for it and to get me there.
Does she? So when it comes to that's her job. Do you pay her or like how does that work?
So what they do is they take average is 15 to 20%. She takes 20, and they take 20% from the model, and then they charge the place you're working at, like charge the company that you worked for an extra 20% from like charging them. So they basically get like 40%, but it's not like of your part. Yeah. So 20% of yours, 20% of what they charge that company. Yeah. And then they use that money from the jobs they book you to pay themselves. So it's you never
like a real estate agent.
Yeah, yeah. And so
so you should never pay your agent.
No, you should never. That's one big mistake. There's like a lot of like scams and like modeling schools out there, and like modeling school isn't real. Like it's not a thing. Like it shouldn't be a thing. Like so before I got to the agent I'm with now, I did start off on one of those, and it's because I got like a scholarship for classes, and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting, and I didn't know anything about it. So that's what I did, and basically they made us like come every week, and they would tell us like about modeling and whatever, and like practice our walk and posing and whatnot. Yeah. But it's honestly better to just like dive into it if you can get accepted into an agency, get accepted, and then literally whenever I got accepted into my last agency, I just transferred over to. She just gave me a whole entire packet of all the information that my last agency gave me and just handed it to me. I didn't have to take any kind of classes, any kind of school. Really? She just had it all written out and like everything. And then with like experience with like posing and stuff, you can't get that from classes. You have to. I mean, like they can give you some like a couple tips and tricks, but like you can get that on YouTube, you know? Oh, and it's like wow. Yeah, and like you mostly just get it from experience. And so just like once you get on the level of like being able to do collab shoots for free, like with photographers, then like just keep doing those when you first start out, and you'll gain experience from that. And each photographer will like is different, and like will give you advice. Like one photographer I learned I always put my chin up too much because she was constantly telling me chin down, because I would always like want to lift my face up, but like from the angle that she was doing it, like it
Yeah.
just looked weird. So then I learned after like shooting with her, I was like, okay, now I need to put my chin down. Or
Like,
I
yeah.
always like, and one photographer was telling me like I need to keep my face in the light. I can't move away from the light because then I get weird shadows on my face.
Yeah.
And stuff like that you learn with experience.
You have to, okay, so
yeah.
like from the sun, you have to, like, even another job of you is literally working with the sun. Like, you have to be able to know the lighting or where it's coming from.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And then like you have to basically like schedule shoots around the time of day. Like it's mostly like either early in the morning or like golden hour afternoon, because if you do it in the middle of the day, it's like direct sunlight, it's really harsh shadows, and it's like
that's not what you want.
It's not what you want. So most of the shoots are either early in the morning or in the evening. But yeah.
Early in the morning sounds like good for everything like that, like your organization, and hopefully you don't have anything going on in the morning. Mm-hmm. I do think it's like interesting how you say like what was I thinking? I like lost my train of thought, but it had to do with like the things that you do. Mm-hmm. And you say, yes, I remember, you said you learned how to change. So basically you learn from experience. So your job is seriously to go out there and grow your portfolio.
Yes.
And just do it.
And you don't get paid when you do that, when you start out. So it's like frustrating. And that's what turns like a lot of people away from modeling at the beginning, because they think like, oh, this is unfair, like I'm not getting paid to do like all this stuff. But it's really, you just have to invest your time and some money in the beginning, and then once you grow, then you can really thrive.
You can really thrive, and I think you will really thrive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope so. One
day, because it's like different things to do. So basically, you have to be able to do a lot of things when it comes to model. You also have to do your own makeup.
Yeah.
We didn't. You mentioned this, but we didn't say this. You have to do your own makeup, and then you have to buy that makeup. Your own outfits. Yeah. You have to watch YouTube videos, because
you have to spend watching YouTube videos.
You have to watch YouTube videos. Literally, you have to watch YouTube videos. Yeah. So you think, I'm gonna read you the things that we have, just really quickly, and just tell me if you think there's anything missing in here that allows you to be a model. Okay. Okay. So just think, if this was the only thing you can do, would you be a model? Yes or no? Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Exercise. Organize your time for activities, fitness, rehearsals, auditions. Put that all into your schedule. Find your transportation oftentimes. It depends. Invest at first when it comes to printing, travel, outfits, makeup. A lot of upfront money you have to put up. Being able to quickly drop everything for a job. Be aware of scams. You have to be aware of these scams. Yeah. You have to self-teach and learn from experience, which takes time. Working with your son when it comes to scheduling and when it comes to posting. Yeah. Watch YouTube, do your own makeup, buy that makeup. By doing all these things, you think you have become a model?
So now that I put it all into perspective, like I used to think like, a lot of people don't see all these things. They just see the one picture and they're like, oh, her job's so easy. She just like stands there and like poses.
You pose. We didn't say a model poses.
Yeah, you have to practice your poses. Practice your poses. Practice your walk. Practice your poses.
Girl, we have some. Hold on. We're gonna write our sticky notes. So pose. The walk, Ashley.
Yeah, very important. You have to literally practice like just walking back and forth in heels in your room, like back and forth, like practice every day for like months until it just becomes natural. Because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, you just walk, like you're walking down the street. It's like so many minor little things that like. It feels unnatural while you're learning it, but once you keep practicing, it's just going to be like second nature and you're going to do it. And so a lot of people don't realize that. They think the walk is just like, oh, something I can learn in like 2 minutes from watching a YouTube video on how to do a walk. It's really like a lot more than that too.
It is a lot more than that. Actually, I feel like we literally forgot the whole pose.
Yeah,
we put very important. We put watch YouTube. Before pose, walk, practice for months. Seriously, do you think we're missing anything else? Do you have to do?
I think you covered it all.
We covered it all? Okay, so this is all for the jobs. Now we're going to move into the other section.